your first investor is going to be, somebody who's going to follow you down the line for the longest amount of time. For example, we've been together, or you guys have been, we've been partners for the past 3 years. We have like new investors, but they've only been with us for a year. And, I remember like, it's really hard making the decision, like I've never talked to investors before 2021. So it's super hard for me to understand who is a good investor to talk to, right? Do you have any advice how should a founder basically approach this? I know we've talked multiple times about like founder market fit, where basically not every founder, if you put me into something like Mattia is doing, I probably wouldn't excel a lot, pun intended, because I hate Excel. But maybe we share that passion. But generally speaking, like, is there something like, how do you align with the investors? Should you look at their website, try to figure out what they've invested in? Should you go talk to them? How does it work?
So maybe let's take a step back, right? It's a very interesting question. I think much like hiring, which you've done now as well with your company, each individual that you add to this mix changes it in a certain way.
Okay.
And bringing a VC on board is very similar to that. So which VC you bring on board will guide your thinking on how this company needs to move forward. And also, I think equally, just taking a step back, not every company needs to raise venture capital. So think about any sort of, family business being cash flow positive. It could be a good outcome for the family. It could be a very successful venture. What kind of companies are essentially, venture capital is a very specific asset class. The way we build the portfolio, the way we think returns are going to be generated. For example, in our case, our portfolio is perhaps 30 companies. Of these, only 2 or 3 of them are going to actually be returners. And the majority of them are not going to get there. So when we get in and when we write the first check, each one of these companies we believe is going to be that moonshot. Every one of them has the opportunity. In the end, they don't get there.
Okay.
So when you're going out to raise venture capital, I think that's the mindset as well that you need to think about, that the VC has this in their mind. The VC has it in their mind that you are likely to, shoot for that. If that's not what your aspiration is, then probably it's not the right place for you to be looking for capital. There are other sources, you should consider them. Then I think the next part is sort of, once you've decided, yes, I'm going to raise VC capital, right? Who should you be looking for? I think the big picture here is about aligning on vision. What kind of company are you building? And like you said about sort of founder market fit, I think there's also the classification, if you will, of the entire VC space is there are a lot of generalist firms. They tend to invest in very broad areas. For example, even within our firm, we say we are B2B software. It could be fintech, it could be health tech, it could be insurtech, it could equally be a developer tools company. But there are partners within those funds who will have very specific focus. So if you're building something in the API space and you go and pitch the wrong partner, they will not have the depth of understanding of it. And it takes a while to appreciate what you're building. Equally, if you're building an open source company and you go and pitch a B2C investor, they have no way of understanding what are the metrics, how should I be evaluating it.
Everybody knows about GitHub stars at this point in time. But yeah, I agree. Like from personal experience, like if you go out and talk to investors who don't have experience, their questions are different. Their mindset is different. The information that they're looking for is quite different than people who actually understand the space.